Everybody, Brian Good here. Welcome to Snow Talk. Sorry, I'm just not getting the blog out today. I've been a little bit behind. Lots of meetings today. Gotta love those days, right? Beautiful weather today, though, but I do want to mention real quick on the snow stats. Nothing much has changed still for the month. 2.6. Normally it should be around 4.3, but we'll get there. All right, on the monitoring board, that hasn't changed much. We've got snow showers for Sunday. We'll talk about the system for next week, about a week from today. Looking really interesting. And then another one toward the end of the month. But today, we had 60 degrees. In fact, even at this hour, we're 23 degrees warmer than we were at nearly 7:30 last evening. So a big change there. We've got some high clouds moving in, though, after the high 60 degrees. Say goodbye to it. It's leaving us. And underneath those south winds, we've got a moisture flow kicking in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's heading our way as early as tomorrow morning. Here's Futurecast. Showers break out early in the morning from the west. We'll reach our high temperature about 50 to 53 around midday or so. Rain, maybe a rumble of thunder, especially south. Wouldn't rule it out. The rain, the steady rain, eases by Friday night, and then as we get colder, any drizzle around will go to snow flurries Friday night and Saturday. A few flurries around, temperatures in the 30s, and then got an Arctic front that's going to move in as we head into Sunday afternoon. So we'll reach a high temperature in the 30s early in the day, and then we'll crash as we head into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. Maybe a dusting to a quarter of an inch of snow. Not a lot of snow out of this, but a burst of snow in the afternoon. And any snow that falls is going to stick and stay, more than likely, because we're going to crash all the way down into the single digits by Sunday nights. I think here in the city, about 9 above. Perhaps the first time in the single digits. 12 so far has been our coldest in the city. Here are the wind chills, though. This is going to be what you really got to keep in mind. Wind chills will crash from 20s into the teens in the afternoon, and then single digits to below 0 Sunday evening. And then for a lot of us, 0, if not 10 below for wind chills Monday morning. It's a holiday on Monday, so hopefully you get a chance to sleep in. Then we get into next week. All right, interesting stuff here. Here's the GFS, here's the Euro, and the Canadian. Here are the ensemble runs to kind of smooth out all the chaos of these up here below each one. We are going to have a lot of Arctic air. Now, cold air is very hard to move out, so that's a factor we've got to keep in mind. How quickly can we get this cold air to move out? We also have to keep an eye on the Hurricane Alex in the Atlantic. If you haven't heard about that, it's going to move into Greenland as we do this weekend. It may really help deepen that trough here over us on Sunday. That'll also play a role in how quickly we get rid of the cold air, because we do have energy moving in once again from the southwest and the north. We've seen this every system so far since about early this year. It's a young year so far. We do have a chance for a weak wave. It's going to track southeast. Northwest to southeast as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. It should fade, though, as it tracks southeast, but it may still have enough moisture to produce perhaps some snow showers or even light rain showers, depending on which model you look at. I'm leaning more towards snow showers. Doesn't look to be a big deal, but that's kind of a warning shot, if you will, to our next system, which is showing stark differences. Now, we lose the Canadian operational model, but we still have the ensemble to look at, though, of the Canadian. But here's the GFS, showing a low pressure moving across the south. The most recent run took a little further south, by the way, but still, it's good. If you've been paying attention the past 5 years I've been here, low pressures to the south. If they trend anywhere, more than likely, they will trend north as we get closer in time. So to keep it south is not a bad thing. But look at the Euro. This is unusual for the Euro to be this out of place with its own self. But the operational run is doing a typical bias where it holds the energy back into Texas. It takes a while to eject it. The ensemble, though, brings it out. In fact, when you look at the ensemble, it's got a closed low pressure showing up on the ensemble. You don't see that very often 7 days out on ensemble for pressure like that to be closed off, for one. So that's significant, too. We need to pay attention to that signal and see if it shows up again later tonight. There's GFS showing the ripple, and the Canadian shows up. It's more of an open wave. It doesn't close anything off, neither does the GFS, really. But the Euro idea would be a winter storm scenario for Kentucky and Tennessee. I'm not going to tell you how much or anything like that. Nobody knows that. But I'm just telling you that potential is there for a winter storm if you go by the Euro ensemble itself. So it is a system that's raising our eyebrows and is one to watch. But we don't have a lot of good agreement on the operational runs yet. That's not too surprising this far out. Just for fun, here's the ensemble snow prediction. It's trying to pile on about 4 inches for Louisville. Again, it's pretty much it's just guessing at this point, but it gives us an idea anyway. When we look at this model, it gives us an impression of what it's trying to think as far as energy level, and if anything, that number will likely go up. So it's worth watching. Blockings would be a big factor here. Here's the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, and we want to get this negative south of the black line, and it is trying to. The Euro's struggling with itself again, trying to figure out if there's going to be blocking or not, as we head into next week. Some of the runs take it positive and some take it, again, negative. Most recent here, the circles, is kind of neutral to positive. So we'll keep an eye on it for a blocking potential because we want to have a blocking pattern to slow that low down, deepen it, and then try to turn it up the coast. Just for fun, the Japanese model is showing a 998 low over Atlanta, Georgia, about the same time period as well. So that is interesting to look at. After that goes by, then we get into all kinds of flip-flopping here. The models, GFS keeps us somewhat cold. The Euro's trying to warm us up. But the ensembles is what you need to do here. Look at those. It still shows a trough, not as dramatic, so not as much Arctic air to work with, perhaps at the end of the month. But still some cold to work with, so perhaps more rain to snow deals or rain or snow setups for the end of the month, including that system that'll move in about the 26th to 28th. So in other words, forecast headaches later this month the way it's looking now. No cut and dry stuff, but those are boring anyway, right? We need a challenge. Next week is going to be a challenge. So get through the cold weather, stay warm this weekend, and we'll tackle next week coming up as we get closer. All right, guys? Bots, green on the snow.